Hi friends, it's Toad Tarek here, who's talking with Spanish people, and Sergeant in the Type Police. And you may notice I've got a new kind of arrangement here. Instead of having the perp sit on the curb underneath my badge, I have the person who reports the perp lie on top of them. And then now I'm going to have this badge thing here as the background. And that way it doesn't look quite so messy. So that's news here at the outset before we begin the actual episode of course, what is it called again? Do you remember? Do you recall the name of it? You probably don't, so I'm going to tell you right now. It's called Police. Try as you might, you just can't hide, 'cause you're mistyped. And I've been waiting to pull you over all night. Type police, type police. Please pull that guy over. He says he's INFP, but seems extroverted, sensing to me. I think he's ESFP or Type Police. Welcome back to Type Police. So Crazy Guzzy put this comment one day ago. Says blank, and then, is she an INFP? Question mark, exclamation point. The exclamation point makes me think that Crazy Guzzy has some skepticism regarding the matter. But as a type policeman, my training has been extensive, and I've been trained to not be influenced by others' skepticism. Crazy Guzzy, you might be skeptical, but I'm not any more skeptical than I always am, which is extraordinarily skeptical. Penelope Lola, huh? Likely name.
Do you have ADHD? Because I do, and I've just recently realized the fact that ADHD is preventing me from succeeding. It's a fun realization. I have underestimated for a long time how far-reaching and how big of a deal having an attention deficit disorder is. I hope I said deficit.
She got a little bit of a sexy accent thing going on, huh? Alright, well listen up, lady. Your sexy accent's not going to get you any special treatment. If you want special treatment on those kind of grounds, you're going to have to pull a naked body painting maneuver of some sort. That seemed to work for that lady, but for you, just being adorable and having a sexy accent isn't going to get you anywhere. So let's see.
Right now, because I don't want to say it wrong like I said before, which was by saying deficit or something like that. Very sorry. Anyways, hi, my name is Penelope. I make videos about anything that can make you feel better or have a better life, and also about what to do after an ADHD diagnosis. If you like that type of content, please subscribe to my channel, browse through my videos, and also press on the bell button so that you're notified anytime I post. Okay, let's get started. As you may know, if you've seen other of my videos, I have been diagnosed with an ADHD a year.
Oh hey, she just reminded me of something. If you like the video, thumbs up it, and if you want to subscribe, you should do that. And you can push the bell and get, I don't know.
A year and a half ago or 2 years ago, something like that. I have been diagnosed by a neuropsychologist through a 4-hour process, so I know for certain that I do have an ADHD. At first, I really considered this disorder to be of minimal importance, because everyone has it and it's no big deal.
ADHD is not something you have. It's a pathologizing label that is attached to action types, SE DOMs and NE DOMs usually, although sometimes you get introverts who exhibit a lot of the traits of it, I guess. Like INTPs can easily get diagnosed as ADHD because they have trouble staying focused on their work. Well, they have trouble doing shit because they're polar SE. It's the action functions. I think the least likely of the action types to get diagnosed as ADHD is ISTP, followed by probably INFP is less likely to get diagnosed. ENFP, ESTP, ESFP, and ENTP are all very likely to get diagnosed, and they probably should be diagnosed, because the thing about it is, instead of calling it a disorder called ADHD, what they should do is call it a status that responds well to speed. If you respond well to speed, then then you respond well to speed. You respond well to speed, probably, is what you're saying. ADHD is meaningless. It's so silly. I can pay attention if things are interesting enough. It's a motivational issue. It's like I need to feel like things are interesting and exciting. And it's because I have a dopamine management problem. That's why I'm an addict as well. I'm addicted to cigarettes. You see me smoking bong rips all the time. It's because I got dopamine management issues. Is it a disorder? No, it's a state of being. I'm tuned for a more exciting world than the one in which I live. Okay, let's continue. I don't think you're an INFP.
Anyway, and I really thought that, anxiety and low self-esteem were actually what was kind of ruining, in a way, my life and why I was going nowhere. But I've realized that ADHD is a much bigger deal than I ever thought it was. In fact, ADHD is preventing me from succeeding, as I said before, and I will tell you why. There are many things I wanted to do in my life that I'm very passionate about, like writing a book, becoming a typology expert, becoming a life coach or an emotional guide. I prefer in writing exercises in books. Yet, at 25 years old, I have accomplished none of that. I've started, I have forgotten, I have become overwhelmed, and I really have no idea why. Well, I had no idea why I hadn't done any of the things that I was passionate about. So...
You're 25. I've actually been paid to do life coaching stuff. I've been paid to type people. But I'm 47, and I certainly didn't accomplish anything like that when I was 25. 25-year-olds now are so much more advanced than 25-year-olds of my generation. Just vastly more advanced. And it's because information is so much more freely flowing. If you're growing up a digital native, then you've never existed in a world where you were isolated the way that I was when I was a kid. Anyway, I still don't think you're an INFP.
I started a long journey of trying to understand myself because I thought I'm very confusing. These ideas and these projects keep coming back into my life, and yet I don't do them. So I thought it's because that's not for me. It's because that's not really what I want to do, right? Because I wasn't doing them. So I thought, then who am I? What is it that I actually want to do? And anytime I started something, I never finished it. So I thought, gosh, this is really hard to find myself. Like my little self is really hard to figure out, right? And now I know that it's because I have ADHD. I do want to accomplish all those things. It's just that my brain doesn't want to. My personality does. I am really passionate and I want to do them and I want to make a change and I want to surpass myself. But my brain doesn't want to do anything that is boring or tedious. And so I never get anything done.
I mean, it certainly sounds like she's describing polar SE, which would be consistent with INFP. She's not an INTP. She doesn't seem very intuitive. I don't think she's an ISFP, but she could be. Let's give her a little bit more time. If I determine she's an ISFP, I'll still arrest her, but I'm leaning towards letting her go at this point. With the polar SE, the thing is, if she were an ISFP, I don't think she'd be telling those stories about having so much difficulty with SE. She could be an ENFP. ENFPs and ENTPs have a lot of trouble with SE when they're younger.
Brain, and any one of you who has ADHD, our brain is wired differently than the neurotypicals. Its structure and function and chemistry is different, and I have linked an article below in the description that kind of explains that more in depth if you want to read it. We cannot bring ourselves to do things that are boring. I constantly forget things and my sense of time is pretty much always like now or never. I have no tolerance for boredom. My brain constantly needs stimulation and excitement, and so anytime I'm bored, I become very negative, and I believe it's because that being negative and like, being confused.
I think she's an ENFP. I don't think she's an INFP. Because I don't think she's describing using extrovert intuition as a tool function. I think she's describing using it as a dominant function. I'm not sure if it's going to be definitive enough. I'm going to watch the whole rest of this video. I don't think it's going to be definitive enough for me to arrest her. I think I have to let her go with a warning and, lady, I'm not sure what to do with you, but let's watch the rest of it.
And wondering what life is about is more exciting than actually being bored. But then because I'm negative, I actually get even less stuff done. I'm very impulsive and I always get sidetracked by new ideas that I have to check immediately and do immediately now or never. My executive functioning skills only kick into gear when I'm excited. If I'm not excited and I'm bored, the executive functioning skills, which are in the prefrontal cortex of the brain, that's where it's being handled, don't kick in. The brain's executive functions are activation, focus, effort, emotions, memory, and action. And as you can see on this little graph, they are very important, these executive functions, in any project that you want to actually do and finish. So, no wonder I have accomplished nothing. I am not lazy, we are not lazy, we are not useless, we are not passionless, we have ADHD. And it's really important to get that because now I know what I have to work on. I've spent so many times working on anxiety and low self-esteem and it never felt right and nothing.
You gotta work on getting yourself some speed, lady. It's just that simple. Just keep some weed on hand too. And you start feeling too twacked out, They call this Dr. Enthusiasm. I feel your pain, baby. It's hard to get shit done when you're when you have to deal with the realities of it rather than just the initial enthusiasm for it. Well, that's why God and the Nazis invented this little orange pill. I'm gonna take another one. I took a couple earlier, but I took another one. I'm loving this shit. I'm loving making Type Police videos right now. I've been having to push myself for the last couple weeks because I haven't had any speed. I ran out. Just wait for the prescription to re-up. And now that I have re-upped it and I'm like just freshly back on cycle, it's like, fuck yeah, I'll crank out a shit ton of these videos today. So yeah, get yourself some speed, Penelope.
Really ever changed. It wasn't fear that prevented me, I knew that. It was something else that I couldn't figure out, and it's my ADHD, you know? And when you don't really know the problem in your life, when you don't really know what's preventing you from actually accomplishing things, it's impossible to find solutions. So now that I know, I actually know what I have to work on. I know why now. This is hope for me. I'm hopeful. I know the problem and I know that I can deal with it. And I
How long has that been off for? Anyway, I'm not gonna arrest this lady. I'm setting her free. She's going home to her own bed. She's sleeping on a pillow that's not made out of poo, and that's not a hard pillow, unless she prefers poo made hard pillows, in which case perhaps she is. Anyway, thanks for watching, and see you next time on a future episode of Type Police. Oh, this isn't it. I can sing it myself. Okay. I parked out just then. Type Police. Type Police. Please pull that guy over. He says he's INTP, but seems extroverted, sensing to me. I think he's ESFP. Oh, Type Police. As you might, you just can't hide. And I've been waiting to pull you over all night. Type Police. Type Police. Please pull that guy over. He says he's INTP, but seems... Anyway, that's it for this episode. thank you for watching again.